Towards the end zone. Touchdown! On 2nd and 28. The Colts capitalize. Richardson to Pittman, 39 yards.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Leroy. Got my guy Zach with me. I'm the host, DeMarco. Got Zach here. Like I said, yeah, man, we done had a little hiatus, man. Everybody done had stuff going on. I actually moved across Reno, so finally got the move done and over with. I am happy to be back. Glad to be back. Can't wait to get the show back rolling for everybody. And got my guy Zach, man. Zach, how you doing tonight, man? How things been going for you? How the weekend going?
I've been working. That's all I do. Work.
Working. Always. Work. Put on the uniform.
But it's not bad. No complaints.
Yes, sir.
Don't have complaints.
Just share the room real quick.
Just bored of this time of the year with all the sports not happening. It's just a boring time of the year because I don't really follow baseball a whole lot.
Man, I don't follow too much baseball myself, but I do follow my Giants. I love my Giants. I'm not gonna act like I don't. But we stink. We're not good. We're 500 ball club pretty much every year, except for a while now. We just can't keep up, man. We win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. We maybe get on a winning streak and then just start to fall downhill. And then, as you know, you told me earlier or yesterday that we got my guy Celebrini for the Sharks and hockey. So it's good that we got the first number 1 overall pick. We got the number 4 from Will Smith last year, who didn't play this past season, and then we got the number 11th overall pick that we traded as well. So hopefully the Sharks bounce back. And then, as everybody know, just recently the Lakers, they got Dalton Connect. LeBron just opted out, assuming that he's going to re-sign for the 3-year, 165, whatever that is. So hopefully the Lakers come back and start doing something. And then the Colts, man. The Colts, I mean, that's the biggest season overall for me. I hope we can really get it booming and really do something big because, I love the Colts the most out of all my teams. So I really need them to do something big for me.
Yeah, that's the one that I emotionally attach myself to is Indianapolis.
Yep.
Pittsburgh is Pittsburgh my whole life, but 1 year they've been bad. And then the Penguins, I'm a spoiled hockey fan. I've had Crosby most of my life, and we've won 3 cups. So, can't complain, can't get mad. But the Colts are the one I do. When they do well, I'm in a good mood, and when they're crummy, my Sundays are pretty much ruined.
Yeah.
I try not to. Especially with my wife and daughter. But it is.
It's tough.
Like I'm depressed now. My whole life it's just I live weekly with the Colts, man.
For real, man. I want to say that was the thing that I had to start getting off of once I had kids and they started getting older and stuff. Man, I was trying to hold back so bad. I remember it was 2020. It was my first year up here in Reno, and the Colts were in the playoffs, and I did not watch the game. I was kind of watching and whatnot, but I had it on my phone and I had my headphones in. And so I'm literally listening to the game and watching everything as it's happening while I'm in the snow and I'm getting irritated. And then the ball is just out of Pittman's hands as he's diving for the touchdown. We could have beat the Buffalo Bills. We could have ruined everything they had before it even started. And I had to not let it ruin my day.
That game I was at my parents'. And it was just a quick but silent long drive home. I was all no, just depressed. I locked myself in the bedroom, just kind of cried for a few, and was all all right, we're good to go. Disappointment. Yeah.
Yep. And then we got Ashley in the comments. We got Chad. Appreciate you guys. Everybody's ready for football. Chad is saying here. He says his friend is a Bears fan, and he says set up for disappointments every season. Yeah, man, it's tough sometimes, but at least now, they got Caleb Williams. They look like they should be trending up on 7 games last year, so
They look
they're
capable.
definitely yeah, they look like they should be on up and up from here. But yeah, man, it's sometimes when it's just tired of being disappointed, man. I got
I
every
mean,
team letting me down, goddamn it.
yeah, yeah. Besides college
And
basketball and Purdue this year, I pretty much was all like, all my teams are trash. So
yeah, I was just about to say, I'm like, also, I think football is just something about football for me to just be one of my biggest things because my Gators, I love my Gators too. So,
yeah,
but they stink too. Yeah, I'm just like, damn it, dude. Somebody give me some hope. But I am a Stallions fan, and we just three-peated. So let's go to the Stallions, man. I got one football team that don't
that's
let me
true.
down.
I forget they exist. The UFL is still a thing, so they exist. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
They're
man.
they're playing quality football. Can't complain there.
Actually saying her sister Bengals fan. Wait, what? Her sister is a Bengals fan and her husband's a Raiders fan. Yeah, man. That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one being a Raiders fan, but a lot of my family is Raiders fans and I mean they don't really talk too much. They've had disappointing seasons. Niners were disappointing for a while too, but they had actually made the Super Bowl back in I think that was 2013, right? 2013?
Who?
20,
Stanford?
no, 2011? No, which one? Which year
The
was they in the
Niners have
Super
gone to
Bowl?
the Super Bowl the past couple of years.
No, the one with Kaepernick. Which one was that? That was
Oh, with the 2012 with the Ravens.
2012. 2012. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
2012. And then the Raiders just been stinking it up for a while. And then the Bengals also. The Bengals doesn't have some treacherous history, man.
Well, I know about that. That's my pops. Like that was
Yeah.
we watched Colts games because we didn't live in the Bengals areas, but Dad
Chad,
was always so.
Chad is saying Colts Bears Super Bowl 2027 rematch. The only way I can wait till 2027 to see us in another Super Bowl, I guess that is 3 years from now. But as long as we're competitive for us to get there. If we keep having these up and down seasons, missing the playoffs, I can't do it. I can't do it. What's up, Hunter from the group chat? Hey man, appreciate you coming in, man. He's a Jags fan, man. So appreciate you even coming in here. But yeah, he said go Stallions, man. Stallions fans too, man. Let's go.
He's a Jags fan. Man, y'all paid an overpriced Gardner Minshew. I'm sorry, dog.
No, we're not rocking with the Battle Hawks, man. Go Stallions.
I will say, hold on, let's go back
Chad,
to
you a
this.
Hawks fan too?
We'll go back to this. I do think because what St. Louis has done with the Battlehawks, still kind of think they deserve an NFL team because like they're the only team that sells out every single week in the UFL. Like they go hard for their Battlehawks. So I kind of feel like why, if you see this on a minor league stage, why not turn around and reward them with an NFL team?
Because you look at any team they got, they can't protect their quarterback. They keep letting their quarterbacks die. Even with the Battlehawks, they let their quarterback die, man. They just getting them killed out there. At some point, you got to start protecting your franchise and make some money. When last time they had a chance was with Goff, and they shipped him off and moved.
True.
And I think they gotta learn to start keeping some stars there because they do, like you said, man. They got a massive fan base.
I mean, that fan base is wild. I mean, every week it's a sellout.
Actually, on that side is where my family moved from. So that's where we originated from, over there on St. Louis side, parts of Kansas City, and relocated over here to the west, way back before my day. But yeah, man, they got a massive fan base out there. They just gotta hold on to them, man. They move too much. Hey, speaking of moving, have you or anybody else inside the comments, have y'all checked out that first episode of the Colts Move? When the Colts moved from Baltimore to Indianapolis.
I've listened to parts of it.
Okay.
I haven't listened to the whole thing because sadly work. But it's kind of weird because like after listening to it, I kind of get I don't know, is it a sense of pride? Is it a sense of like why? Like I mean,
why to make the episode?
Yeah, like why
I'm
why are we still talking about Baltimore things? We've been in Indianapolis for so long. Like,
I really wish I could tell you that because to remember everything piece for piece because I was working at the same time I was listening trying to watch it, but
yeah,
they do. JJ Stankovic does explain why they brought it up and whatnot because a lot of Colts fans don't have that knowledge. I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't know a lot of the information that was going on and some of the stuff that was happening as far as like getting down to the details of their move and how uh, um, uh, Bob Irsay bought the team and everything like that.
you didn't know
Um,
it was a trade with the Rams owner.
yeah, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
you
And
didn't
then
know it was swap.
the two people that he was supposed to go into business with, and they just jumped up and left. And he
Yeah,
had to buy the team by himself. Like I
yeah,
didn't know that. I didn't know part stuff like that. So I thought it was pretty crazy and pretty cool that they put all that in there. Now some of it was kind of like, yeah, you think about why, but it's kind of good for some of the younger Colts fans. Like you think about the ones today that really missed our glory days because they were younger and they don't really know that much of the history. This is great info for them.
yeah. Like
Real
for
quick,
the
we got a comment here. Antoine saying that he might go to the tryouts for the Battlehawks.
do
Chad
it,
said,
boss.
"You make the team by your jersey, dog." Yeah, same here, man. I'll support, man. I'll get you 11 for you, even though I'm a Stallions fan, but I'll support you, man.
Do it, make it. No,
um, Oh yeah, we were 1 second, Ash. But yeah. So I just thought it was good information because some of it in there you just don't know, and I know it's like kind of like going backwards and stuff like that. But I always think it's good to know your history, refresh up on, especially if you're somebody like me where your memory don't ain't always gonna serve you. Hey, you know how people say,
yeah,
yeah, I've forgotten more football than you know. Sometimes people say that, you know, that
yeah.
that would be me. So I take a refresher course every once in a while just to make sure I remember. But yeah, I thought it was good, man.
I mean, I enjoyed parts and pieces of it. I have to go back through and listen to the whole thing when I actually have some time coming up here
Four
with the holiday.
parts,
Really,
four parts.
yeah.
So that was only one.
For the holiday weekend, I'll either go back through and listen to and get caught up with what they release, and just kind of again refresh because, like, I think it's crazy that you could actually trade franchises and it'd be perfectly legal. Like, that's what I found completely wild about the Colts history, that the Ursays actually bought the Rams and then they traded with the Rosenblums. I think that was his family's name, the Colts, and that's how they became owner and sole possession of the Colts. So,
Yep.
like, that to
Yeah.
me is just wild because you figure, like, Ursay and the Rams sounds weird, but that's literally
It's
what
crazy.
it's
It's
what could
like
have been.
I want to say one of the craziest part for me too is to think about it because it's like if I go back and it's like who would I be a fan of if the Colts weren't there in '98 for me to start watching Peyton and then start learning everything. It just sends me down a whirlwind. We don't need to go down that path. That'd be more individual for me. But yeah, man, I just thought it was interesting and thought it was crazy. We can get to some of these questions here. Ashley saying you think Anthony Gold will do kick return / punt return. Zach said no to this, but I think he will. That's what you were answering, right, Zach? And then Antoine is also saying here, are they implementing the UFL kickoff to the NFL? I want to say that's
Yes,
it's not, no, the UFL, I'm pretty sure they do a
it's
regular kickoff.
it's the XFL
It's
one.
the XFL one.
Yeah, where they're like
where
this
you
far
do
away
the
from
10,
each other.
yeah, you got the, it'll be 10 on 8 with 2 returning and then 1 kicker. So that's
And no
supposed to
one
be the
can touch
setup
each
for it
other. No one can
until the
block each other
ball
until the ball is caught by the returner.
or touches the ground.
Yeah. And then
Yeah, so yeah, that'll be implemented this year. And then so yes, Ashley, I do believe that Anthony Gold, that'll be kind of his piece. That's what he'll be working on. I think that's why we brought him in. That's why we went that way. And plus, and then we also wanted to up our kick return game because it really kind of fell off after Isaiah Rodgers was gone and Dallas Flowers got hurt.
to me, I have a two-part with this. Do I think he will? Eventually, yes. Do I think he'll do it all year? No, because I still think that like Downs is going to have an opportunity. The dude that got hurt last year that has been Doolin. I think Doolin's going to have the
Ashton
opportunity.
Doolin.
I think he's going to get opportunity. Bro's an all pro before the injury. So, like, eventually, I do think Anthony Gould will find a role on special teams. He'll either do punt return or kick return, but I don't see him doing both because I feel like guaranteeing him a spot and saying this is what you're going to do and it's all yours is completely counterintuitive to what the Colts do. Just my opinion.
Yeah. I think he's gonna be the starter from the jump. Personally, I just think it'll be something that they're gonna use immediately unless they find another returner. The only reason I see that he wouldn't would be because he's getting more of a role on offense. That'd be the only reason I think.
And then Zach, you said St. Louis should have an NFL team. What team do you think would move to the Lou? Personally, this is going to be a wild take. Probably not happening. But I think the Chargers would actually move to St. Louis just because like they're the ugly redheaded stepchild in LA because everyone in LA supports the Rams. I know that the ownership of the Chargers probably doesn't want to because, if anything, they'd rather go back to San Diego. But to me, that's the only team that I could see moving to St. Louis because I feel like Jacksonville would move to London before St. Louis. So
nope, Jacksonville just approved renovations to their stadium.
Right, and they got that. They're staying. But yeah, to me, the only team that even screams relocation right now is the Chargers, and it would be the Chargers or nobody's moving. I made a meme and shared it in our group chat about the Oklahoma City Chargers, and I asked Joe, "Is this legit? Is this real?" Because there's been rumors that a team like Oklahoma, a state like Oklahoma, a team like Oklahoma City, they have a basketball team, and then why not have an NFL team?
I'd personally rather add 2 teams than move one. As I'm thinking about the teams that are in the league. Yeah,
like
personally.
A 34-team league.
Yeah.
That's the thing I've thought about, like adding a St. Louis team, and then I don't know where you would add. If you add to St. Louis, why didn't turn around and add to Oklahoma City? Or would you add to Portland? I mean,
I'd probably say I wouldn't do Portland because the Seattle Seahawks are too
right
close. But I'd definitely go. Oh, no, I'd probably say St. Louis, and
would you go international in Canada, like Toronto?
Nah, I wouldn't go Toronto. If I were international, I'd probably go London because we go there a lot. The UK, we go there a lot. But Jacksonville's already decided to stay, so I think that'd be one that would stick. But I'd probably say like.
See, I think that's the whole thing. Like, it's got to be a relocation because the league is too perfect. Like, it is literally. It's the one league where I truly believe you don't need an expansion ever because there's 32 solid franchises except for the Chargers.
Yeah, I'd probably think if I had to choose one, I think I'd go St. Louis.
Go back to Oakland?
Nah, because Oakland's dead right now.
Take one back to San Diego?
San Diego would be a good one.
St. Louis, San Diego.
I'd probably do like St. Louis and New Mexico.
Albuquerque?
Somewhere around there, maybe.
It's different. I wouldn't be mad at it.
Yeah, something like that. It's tough to think of a place.
Like just the whole relocation aspect of it or franchise of it. Like, I really think that's the NFL is so much. There's so much parity in the NFL. I really think this is a good problem to have, and that actually might be a thing in the next 5 to 10 years. if the competition and the level of play ends up being so good that we could see an expansion. I mean, Roger Goodell's all about it, but they want to do an expansion into Europe. And I just don't think that that's doable unless you do like NFL Europe like they had in the past, where Frankfurt, Germany, Barcelona, Spain, London, England.
See, the hard part is
Dublin, Ireland, like all that.
I think the tough part is is to try and have people move overseas. Because if your team's there, you're gonna likely need to be closer to there. So it's like if you did that, then like you got to tell these players like, hey, we're gonna need you to like become a citizen somewhere else. It's like
I'd be do it for an opportunity.
No
opportunity to play in the league, really.
No, not unless you're going to guarantee me I gotta have a guaranteed $10 million a year. I need lifetime insurance or something. I'm not gonna go move my family completely overseas, and then next thing you know, I tear my ACL, and then boom, I'm done.
I mean, here's the thing, though.
Fringe roster player.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, true. You're looking at that from a vet perspective.
No, I'm looking for a young
homie.
Roster, like
I think if you're straight up out of college, and it depends where you went to college, because I feel like a lot of these kids, if they go across country and they're far away from mom and dad, I truly believe most of them to have an opportunity to play in the league wouldn't care, because that's an opportunity to play in the league.
It's not just to play in the league though. Like I mean, like your whole lifestyle, like
right.
You gotta live
shock.
there. You gotta go do your groceries there. You gotta work out there. You gotta live there. You gotta follow by a new country's laws and rules.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what they're supposed to go by. Like what is the Packers and the Eagles game where they was telling them you can't wear green because there's a gang over here. Like you don't know what that country is gonna be about and whatnot. Like,
right.
So I mean, I kind of get it. It's like you're given the opportunity. People do it all the time, move jobs overseas because they're gonna make X amount of money and whatnot. But it's different when you're just playing a sport where the average lifespan is like
3.5 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like tough to say, like, I'm gonna go do this 100% of the time without you at least guaranteeing me like lifetime insurance and at least
I'm sure,
give me $5 million guaranteed to say like, hey, we got you to do this. Like that's the tough part, man. That's why I say two teams in the US, because until we make this whole going overseas thing, like it's kind of normal now, but until we make it a traditional thing, like we're really doing this all the time, same destination, where people are going, that's where it kind of get a little.
Yeah, if they do something overseas, I do think you're on the right path. You'd have to do like a co-op or like an Olympic Village type thing where players and families live here. Everything in here is their little, their oasis, their utopia. Exactly. While the season's on, they're here. I mean, in that situation, yeah, you'd have to do something like that. Let's scroll down here.
Yeah, that would be crazy. And then you'd also have one team, one division with 5 teams. As Chad said right there, how do you split up the division with two additional teams? Wouldn't that make 2 divisionals 5 first? So yeah, that'd be a tough one. Chad also said, well, the trades with international teams would be tough too, to my point. And Dave Stewart saying here, plus someone moving overseas for the opportunity is fine, but you're dealing with 53 plus all staffs and team officials.
Right.
Yeah, so it'll just get real complicated.
It's going to take something like an Olympic Village, like we're about to see in Paris, like that year round, essentially, because the NFL, even though they're not playing games, they never die. So either you go and get locals and you give this team almost a very European feel.
I mean, it'd kind of be like
and culture, because it would essentially be a very European feeling. Or if you do choose to go overseas, I would figure you'd do like a feeder system, like like the Japanese football team just beat that American team 41-20.
I want to know who the hell was on that team.
I want to know who the coach was. That dude, 30 lashes
No, forget the coach. I don't care who the coach is. Like, I want to know who the players was. Who was
Those
on the
high school
field.
kids?
I don't
Are
care.
those-
I don't care if Adam Gase was coaching the team. There is no reason if
Are
you're
those
the
high
top
school
American.
kids?
I don't know, bro. Like, they were saying names. I've never heard of any of the names before. I don't know, but all I know is there is no reason why they should be losing if you're supposed to
Bro,
be the
you got to be
all-stars of the
retired.
US.
You have to retire immediately.
Yeah,
Like-
just don't even play no more.
Yeah,
Hella
hang it
people
up.
was saying, hella people was in the comments saying, "Don't come back to the U.S. Y'all just
Yeah.
stay over there wherever you was at."
We were
Don't
talking
come
about it
back.
at work. We're like, man, how do you lose a game you created to a team that plays like American football like 8 weeks out of the year?
Yeah, bro, absolutely insanity. I couldn't believe it. Who the hell is playing? Like, and Pat McAfee kept saying it was like Jordan Poyer and some other guys and stuff, but I couldn't tell if they were joking or not. But there's no way there was NFL players on that team.
No, bro. If there's NFL players on the team, then they need exposed, and their contract money, their guaranteed money, needs like taken away just for the simple embarrassment.
Yeah, apologize everybody. We ain't got too much planned for y'all tonight. You know, it's our first night back in a while. I know the guys did a show a couple weeks ago, but we're kind of just bouncing around. So keep throwing things in there. But Nathan is saying here, is this a make or break year for Pierce and Big Mo?
Pierce, no. Mo, I still don't know how the hell he's on the team. I think he's actually gets cut. Like, I really, really, really think he gets cut. Pierce, you can never have too many good receivers. And if somebody gets hurt, having a guy who's like Pierce is more valuable. And I'd rather hold on.
Just having the depth.
Right. I'd rather hold on to that. So he's not going to go anywhere because he's on a rookie deal. Ballard Dunn said that 100 times in press conferences. You never cut a guy on a rookie deal just because you don't know what the future holds, and it really doesn't hurt you to hold on to him. So I think whether Pierce is wide receiver 4 or wide receiver 3, he's probably better to keep than not have, essentially.
Exactly. And for me, I totally agree with Zach. As far as Mo not being cut, I know that Coach Steichen and everything, they love him. They love Mo as much as we don't want to like it and whatnot. I also think it's crazy that he's still on the team, though. But this year, with how many receivers and stuff that we have, with how much competition we got at DB, how many injuries we had last year, I don't see how we can keep more than 4 tight ends. It's tough to even say 4. As for Alec Pierce, just like Zach said, I completely agree with everything that he said. You don't cut a guy like him. He's on the rookie contract. You still have depth. And then just like we just watched with Nico Collins, who was in year 3, go off. Why is everybody giving up on Alec Pierce? You know, you don't necessarily see guys break out all the time. We can't hope for an all-pro at every position. And again, injuries happen all the time. What's wrong with having that depth there, having a guy that you know was a second-round pick and completely capable of being able to play? He just needs more opportunity, more chances. It's obviously on him as well to develop a bit more to get out of just being a deep ball guy and be able to run some different routes and stuff, but no reason to cut Alec Pierce. Don't see it make or break here for either of them.
Will Sam get cut? I think he will.
Nathan is asking, will Sam Ehlinger, currently QB3, be cut?
I really think he will, just because I really like the 2 undrafted guys that the Colts have, and Kalen Slovis, who's all right, but that Jason Bean kid from Florida or from Kansas, I think he's got the ability to be special. So whether he's on the practice squad this year or the emergency quarterback like Sam was, I think Sam's time has run the course. I don't see them keeping him when you got younger players with higher upside and potentially waiting in their wings ready to go.
I personally do not think Sam will be cut. It kind of does suck to say, just like Zach just said. I think both of those guys, Bean and Slovis was a guy that I wanted us to draft later on. Bean has he has major upside with his legs, and as far as very similar ability to AR. So I do like both of those guys, but if you think about the experience that we have on this roster, Sam has the second most experience at quarterback starting in the NFL. I do not think you can just throw that away. So I personally don't think he'll be cut, especially not if Slovis or Bean, neither of them wow the coaching staff. So personally, just with his experience, I don't believe he'll be cut. And we'll kind of see how it plays out. Hopefully, one or both of those guys can make the practice squad, or one of those guys can beat out Sam, and maybe I'm wrong and he gets cut. But as of right now, I can't say that he will. I don't think so. Chat here. I think they keep Sam because he's cheap and Flacco isn't young. AR too many injuries. Exactly that as well. Dave Searcy here with tight end room so full. Moali will be a casualty. We can only hope for that, man. I think what is he guaranteed? Like $5 million left on that contract?
No, I don't think there's any guaranteed money on this. Really think he has no guaranteed money.
If there's no guarantees, then I think he could be cut. But if he still has guarantees, I don't know. It's just tough to think that he will. Oh,
it's the last year of his deal too. So
yes,
because both he and EJ are due for new contracts.
Yeah, he's definitely not getting a new contract. I'd be absolutely shocked if he got a new contract.
Me too.
Dave Stewart saying Sam should be cut. Dave, you want to let us know why? Why do you think Sam should be cut? I'm not questioning or anything. Would just like to know why. Chad is saying here, and having a QB similar to play style as AR means easier for Steichen to game plan and focus on one game potential. Exactly why I think that that's why I like Slovis. Also think Bean has potential. I'm not totally sure on his passing capabilities. I'm not going to sit here and act like I watched a ton of Kansas and when he played. But I think his similarities, just like we saw Steichen do with Gardner Minshew, which is totally the opposite of AR. You can see that Steichen can work with anybody. And Ballard even said that recently. I don't know if you guys watched the podcast, but it was on a GM Shuffle with Mike Lombardi and I forgot the other guy's name. But he basically said that Steichen proved to him and showed that it didn't matter what it was. It was like the difference with Frank Wright. Frank Wright needed to have his specific guy. Steichen showed him that he can make it happen with whoever. And so he knows that if I give him capable guys, Shane can make it happen. So I think that's why it's going to be better to have that potential. So hopefully somebody can beat out Sam so we can have a better number 3. But hopefully we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But it's good to have that guy.
Chad, you asked why did we pick up Joe Flacco?
Because he led Ballard the playoffs.
Yes, because Ballard and Shane value the backup quarterback position. On top of that, I'm just going to reiterate what DeMarco just said. Shane don't care who the QB is. He can win and believe he can succeed with any quarterback, regardless of play style, because he's a play caller who, in my opinion, he's an elite play caller. So you have an elite play caller, you can afford to have different QB play styles and still be successful.
Yes, sir. And then Dave is answering my question here. Just want to get back to this real quick. He says Sham should be cut because he hasn't shown any real game ability when he's played. He also said Dave also says that the New England game a couple years ago speaks volumes, and basically he's talking about how bad that game was for Sam Ehlinger. And then also the loss that we had to Washington was due to him fumbling. I mean, obviously stuff's going to happen in football, but, you take care of the football in the red zone, we likely win that game. So I hear you, Dave. I don't know if those are reasons to be cut because, I mean, Ballard really likes him. It's a tough situation. I hope he gets beat out, but, it's a tough one. Chad is chiming in on the Shane one. He says, Shane is a stud. Yeah, I think we got an absolute great coach. I mean, especially on the offensive end. He was a rookie last year, made plenty of rookie mistakes. Obviously, stuff like that's going to happen. That's also a good point that I want to bring up with AR coming back. We also got to temper our expectations with some rookie mistakes coming as well. But hopefully we keep seeing flashes of goal from both of them consistently. Nathan here is jumping us to a different topic, saying we need veteran DBs on the back end of the defense, and I completely agree, man. Adam Schefter reposted Paul George opting out from the Clippers contract today, and Adam Schefter reposted it, and I commented on there and told him stick to football, and also announced that Quandre Diggs is signed to the Colts. I don't know what the hell Ballard's waiting for. I'm like,
It's
I
cold.
need him.
He's waiting until they're dirt cheap, dog. Till
Man,
there's pennies on the dollar and the player gets desperate.
and
And
see,
then
but
he's gonna be
he does this every year, bro. He
absolutely,
did this with
yeah.
O-line, he did this with receiver, he did this with quarterback. He just waits till we're to the bare bones, and then he finally watch. Next year, I'm telling you, watch. Next year he's gonna draft some studs on the back end.
Yep.
And it's gonna be a year too late. And we're gonna miss out on something this year.
I get it.
I need him to jump off the porch and go make these moves, man. It's just I agree, Nathan. We do need some veterans on the defense. As far, I mean, I wouldn't even say a lot. Take off the S, just a veteran. We need a veteran free safety. Obviously, a veteran in the cornerback room would be nice, but he's got to stop doing this, man.
I agree. I personally don't. I think the young guys that we have are a good group. I would like to see a veteran added. Quadri Diggs would be cool. I think Justin Simmons is more a fit, but I also don't know how expensive a guy like Simmons would be. And adding, but definitely, my bad. Definitely a vet to just show Rodney Thomas, hey, you're right, but you're not all the way right. So let's fix it and then watch how I do this during a game rep and you can learn, that's really what it comes down to, because I truly feel like Rodney Thomas isn't that far away.
What if I told you we got Justin Simmons and paid him 2 years, $26 million, $13
I wouldn't be mad at
million
that. I would not be mad at that.
What if we gave him 18 of the 26 million guaranteed?
Wouldn't be mad at that, because he's probably gone after 1 year, and if it's 18 million and we get in the playoffs, and I look at it as 18 million well spent. So I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah, I wish I was up on rumors of what the price would cost, but man, I just don't see any reason why it's taking long. I really don't.
I think that, as Ballard alluded to that podcast you're saying, it's so hard to evaluate guys in shorts because everybody looks good in the underwear Olympics, that it truly comes down to putting the pads on and seeing guys in pads to really cross your T's and dot your I's and be like, oh, damn, we really do have a hole at safety. Let me make a phone call. Now, being that it's something like that, he went from operating from a position of strength and being proactive to operating from a position of weakness, and probably going to have to offer a bigger deal to sign a guy than he really wanted to.
But see, man, that's my problem with it, though. It's like we're already in the reactive state. It's like, remember when I sent you guys that screenshot of what the GM said? Sometimes you're gonna have to make a move that might get you fired.
Yeah.
Do you think anybody in this fan base would be upset if Ballard signed a Justin Simmons or a Quandre Diggs? Everybody's gonna say, if this guy didn't work out, they're gonna say, at least Ballard fucking tried to get somebody.
At least he swung.
That's
you
what
can't hit
I'm
home
saying.
runs all
So
the
that's
time.
my problem with it. I'm like, if it was like a I don't know, fucking if we just signed like some old guy that was pretty much out of his prime, no reason to sign him or whatever, then it'd be like, oh, bargain bin Ballard, and people be upset.
Right.
But if you sign one of these two guys that everybody is wanting, it's just like, we know you tried, so it's like, why not just do that? So that's just kind of where I'm at with it, man. Like, I get what you're saying, but it's like at a certain point, we got to stop doing this with our tackles, our quarterback, our receiver. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, that seems to be Ballard's trend. He's a very reactive GM instead of a proactive GM, unless it's the defensive line. Then he's very, proactive to an extent.
Yeah,
with
I need that man. I need that man to get it done. Something.
Liatu Latu.
Yeah. Uh, we got Dave saying here: is there a difference with Sam versus rookies with the money? Why?
I think Sam.
I want to say that the two rookies that were, if you're talking about Bean and Slovis, I do believe both of those guys are guaranteed probably like less than like 275,000. Versus Sam, which I think would probably be, if he makes the roster, would be guaranteed like a 750,000 or something like that. It'd be similar to Brock Purdy's money, so it wouldn't be a
Well,
lot.
he's in the last
Um,
year of his rookie deal.
yeah, yeah. So I don't think there would be a big difference. I think it's just mostly because Ballard really likes him, and then he's also started games. Anytime you have starting experience in the NFL and you're still young, teams are gonna kind of let you work your way out of the off the team.
Yeah. Um,
Chad is saying here, I hope he is a
he's talking
Mike
about Shane
Tomlin for.
Steichen.
Yeah, saying hope Shane Steichen is a like a Mike Tomlin for the Colts, as we have him for many years. Yeah, I think so. As long as, I mean, honestly, after what he did last year, this whole podcast, we were expecting 5-6 wins. So this dude can turn piss into wine. So I mean, I think I think he I think he should be around for a long
I think
time.
if as long as the
Uh,
winning continues, he'll be around a while.
yeah,
Like,
man. I think as long as some, like, if Ballard got fired for some reason and a new JM came in and decided to be stupid, that'd be the only way I see that Steichen would be out, or he retired.
no one else has jumped at them. From what I've read, from just what I've read, that these guys, these safeties, are in no hurry because they want the best offer they can get. And I've also read where Justin Simmons still holds out hope that he's going to go back to the Broncos. So yeah, I read where he still has contact with Denver and would like to return because the only three teams that I've read that are actually interested in him are Denver, Tennessee, and Indianapolis. But Indianapolis is also interested in Quadri Diggs and the young safety from Detroit that they let walk.
Quentin Delphus.
No, Taylor. No, I don't know. Let me find his last name.
Yeah, Dave. I think it's just one of those things with the market. It's kind of like running backs. Once you get down to the last few, it's like they're trying to get the most out of their deal, I would guess. So trying to hold out for it. But I think most of them either want a team that's going to give them the most money, and then sometimes they'll say the best fit for them, which you never really know. But I just want us to, get some bets on the back end to try and, just lock it up and make sure it's strong, because we know how Gus is. Once Gus feels like a guy isn't competing or playing the way that he's expecting them to, he'll immediately just like swap him out and replace him. So if we got Rodney Thomas and Nick Cross back there struggling, why not bring in a vet like a Quandre Diggs or Justin Simmons and know that you have that type of security? And if one of those guys don't work out, you got another way to go around them. You got other guys behind them that you would hope to be able to step up. I'm just saying, just don't leave it as a massive hole that we have there that's
True.
in a struggling position. That's just what I mean. Chad is saying here, speaking of defense, do you think this is Gus's last year if we don't make the playoffs? I will say I do not think it's Gus's last year, as much as I hate to say it, because I think our defense is supposed to be designed to not let people beat us, and that's pretty much all people do is beat us. So it's tough to say with our personnel, with how injured we've been. But all I know is that if he keeps coaching up this defense that is in the bottom 20 or the bottom 4 of points giving up in the league, then I just don't know how he can continuously be the DC. Just wouldn't make sense to me. But personally, I know Steichen loves him. He likes the way his scheme is coached and whatnot. Obviously, we got to stop giving up big plays. It's missed tackles, it's injuries. It's a whole lot of stuff that goes into it. So Gus is getting a lot of excuses that he probably shouldn't right now. But I don't think it'll be his last year.
Colts did bring in Kareem Jackson for a workout this offseason, so
They did.
there's that.
So what that'll be is as soon as somebody gets hurt, he's going to be the first guy we sign.
Yep, that's exactly what that is. As for Gus coming back, I would love to tell you that if they don't work this year, yes. But I really think that this is a 5-year plan. And he's going in year 3. And then last year, Shane really liked what he was, I guess, building, picking up and putting down, because Shane never said a bad, negative thing about Gus ever.
I'm gonna shout out the podcast. Zach, actually, do you remember the name? The video that you sent us of Brett
Brett Kuhlman, Bootleg Podcast.
Yeah. So if you guys go check out that podcast that Zach just talked about, the episode is called "The Colts Are Really, Really, Really Good," or going to be really, really good, something like that. He basically breaks down where this defense was, and as far as we can say, this is a middle of the pack defense, pretty much all around. The problem with the defense is we gave up a lot of huge plays, a lot of missed tackles and stuff. So that's where a lot of the issues come from. He breaks it all down on there, has statistics, has everything on there. And then we added to what some of our weaknesses were. And so the way we're set up, we should be perfectly able to play against anybody. We just got to make it happen. So we got to stay healthy.
As much.
Giovanni Posley, welcome in. Appreciate you coming in. Yeah, we were discussing Justin Simmons.
Would love Simmons.
So we're hoping we could get him, man. Patch some holes a little bit.
I feel like Indy's much more admirable.
Got the Colts
team
versus the Broncos on right now. Colts versus the Broncos, 2014.
I feel like to answer this question, Indy hasn't won shit. So, yeah, they have a lot of young, nice pieces. But I feel like players don't want to come to a place if they're not consistently winning, or take less to win, if that makes sense. Like you see that a lot in the NBA where guys will take less to play for a contender. So like Indy's not really done anything. I mean, yes, the potential. If you look on the roster, the homegrown talent they had and the guys that they're able to keep, there's a lot of good guys on this roster. But to sit here and say a free agent destination, like it's admirable that teams want to come here, I don't buy that. Like, not yet. We ain't won nothing. It's all about winning in the league. And until you win consistently and you can beat up on your little brother in the division and you beat up on the AFC foes consistently, that's when, you get guys like Von Miller or Aaron Donald to come out of retirement and come play for you. That's what's up. Until that happens, it's just, we're just one of the 32 teams in the league, in my opinion.
Yeah. See, I was gonna disagree with Zach on the first part, but then he stated the second part, and that's where I do agree. So, Chad's basically saying I feel like Indy is a much more admirable team this year than the past few years. More players see the potential in winning, and so it basically goes to the point where it's like, if we start to win, then you get people to come here, because players aren't really going to come to a team that isn't really spending major money. Like, yeah, they pay their own guys, but that doesn't necessarily help inside of the free agent market. But then if you're winning, then players are thinking, hey, look at this team. Look at the way they're built. Look at the way they're winning. Like, as soon as AR has one great season and goes off, it's going to be just like the Lamar Jackson effect, where everybody's like, hey, I might want to go play with that guy. Like, he could take me there. So as soon as we start winning, that's when it can become one of the big potential cities again, because it's proven that Chris Ballard will pay guys. You just got to be one of his guys. And so it's either that or you're a proven talent like a DeForest Buckner. So just one of those situations. Oh, my God, Trent Richardson is on the team. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so it's just one of those situations where we gotta see guys perform before we kind of try and get more.
Oh, Dad dropping a nuke.
Chad is saying here, but back to what Shane did with Indy last year, and a solid vet should be interested in coming here after what they did this last year. Yeah, I mean, if we can replicate it, the NFL is what have you done for me lately?
Right.
Almost really nobody is really sold off of one season. I know the Texans are getting a lot of hype, but if you think about their free agent additions, there wasn't really many.
The only team that's
it was two trades
Right.
for or no, they did sign Danielle Hunter as a free agent,
right.
and he went there. That's where he's from. And, they had their season last year, so he thought he could see the upside. And they traded for Diggs, so it's one of those
Andrew
things
Mixon.
where and traded for Mixon. So they look like they signed some guys and stuff like that, but it's really just, can you repeat it? Once you start repeating and proving that you can be that talented and that good of a team, that's when you start to see the change. So if we can repeat what we did last year, Chad, and maybe add a win or two, then I definitely can see some big interest coming for us 2025 season.
Dad, we had a conversation about this. No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. Here's why.
Yes.
Here's why I don't believe he will be back. I think one reason, I think Shaq has moved on. Like, they just interviewed him because he was here in Indy doing for his Maniac
Maniac
thing
Foundation.
Maniac. There it is, Maniac Foundation that he has here in Indy that he set up when he was a player. And he said, "Hey, just because we move on off the field or on the field doesn't mean that I don't care about this team in this city off the field." So I feel like off the field they have a far better relationship than they do on the field. I look at it like Shaq Leonard, in my opinion, is a shell of himself, sadly, because of the injuries. Like, hey, if he plays, cool. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But I don't want to even try and get our hopes up, because if he can't play, we got to be honest with ourselves, and he'd be one of the first ones cut. There's no sense in bringing him back.
I'm definitely bringing him back, man. He's a hometown hero. You bring him back, he boosts the morale. You give him a shot. I'm not saying you bring him back and you give him back his $100 million deal, whatever he had or whatever. You give him a roster spot. You treat him like one of the regular 53 trying to make the team. You give the guy a shot, and you're seeing if he can beat out one of your third, fourth string linebackers. That's the only reason I would see to bring him back. I mean, obviously he doesn't play special teams, so I wouldn't really see him getting a big shot. But, you give him a chance just to make the team. I would.
I mean, in that aspect, yeah, but at the same time, like, you really want that much tread on your tires for a potential, like, the 53rd guy? Like, there are certain teams who might prefer a vet like that, but to me, when in doubt, I'd rather go young. I'd rather go young than I would.
I don't think anybody's preferring him right now. Otherwise, he would have been signed. I think that back is really done.
I agree. I think it's done. I think he fought the good fight. He made his money. He's a Colt legend. You could argue he's the most decorated Colts defender in Indianapolis Colt history. So he'll definitely be in the Colt Ring of Honor.
He was well on his way to being the greatest Colts defensive player of all time.
You don't think he is there now?
No. Not with the injury. With the injuries and cutting his career short, there's no way he's past Freddie and Mathis.
I would argue he's in that conversation.
I mean, you could argue he's in that conversation, but there's no way he's above those two.
I think he's above Freeney, because all Freeney did was get sacks.
Actually, matter of fact, he's not even above Bob Sanders.
Why?
So he wouldn't even be top 3. Bob Sanders won a defensive player of the year, bro.
Yeah, but that's it. He was never an All-Pro. He was never a multiple-time All-Pro.
Yeah, but he won defensive player of the year. That's better than All-Pro.
I mean, I get
and
it.
He won a Super Bowl.
I get. Well, he did win a Super Bowl. Like, that alone, okay.
I mean,
but I don't know.
Those two accolades puts him above him. Like, I get what you're saying as far as what he did. He was an All-Pro for 3-4 straight seasons.
Yeah.
Obviously didn't make the Pro Bowl one season, which they screwed him on, but he was a 3-time Pro Bowler as well. But I just think the fact that it was cut short, like if you go ask fans out of the Colts fan base, do you know Shaq Leonard? Most of them ain't gonna know.
No, do I think the name will have that longevity as Dwight Freeney and Mathis has?
Not at all.
No.
That's what
I do think he is the most decorated Colts defender of all time, behind Mathis. I think he's right there.
I can't put him above Freeman. I really can't put him above Sanders. I just think that winning a defensive player of the year as a safety, as a small safety at that,
Right.
this is the hit
Right.
thing.
Right.
Then you move over to Dwight Freeney. Dwight Freeney, like the whole chip blocking was made to stop Dwight Freeney.
And Lawrence
Bill
Taylor.
Belichick,
Yeah.
Bill Belichick created that just to stop Dwight Freeney.
Right.
And then having one of the most sacks, one of the best strip sacks moves in history. I think he's got to be up there. So you got Robert and Freeney, however you want to place them two up there.
Right.
You got Bob, and then that's when the conversation starts.
See, I literally have Robert, Freeney, Maniac, and Bob. And I only give it to Maniac because he was consistent just a little bit longer than Bob was. You could argue. I don't remember Dwayne Bickett. You're right, Dad. I don't know. You say Dwayne Bickett, and I'm like, who?
I don't know. I can't name you. But did Dwayne Bickett even make our all team?
I don't think
he did.
Man. I don't think so. But we're biased, bro. We put like 2000s, and we don't. I think the oldest dude we had.
Bro, we had
Gino like Mercelli or whatever it was.
Gino Marchetti.
Yeah.
We also had my guy from the 50s who had like 81 interceptions or something like that.
I mean, but like that's all stat related. We never seen these cats. But I mean, it's just to me, I have Shaq Leonard as third just because like, yes, he didn't win a Super Bowl. No, he didn't win a defensive MVP. But beyond that, he was legit. He's up there. He's top 3, in my opinion.
I can definitely appreciate your respect for him. And again, that's where the debate comes in. So like you said, he's in that conversation. And that's why I say absolutely. But I got to put him behind Bob. I got to. Like I just think that you go back to our glory days, you know those names. That's right. What everybody knows.
Right.
As much as Shaq did, I think it's totally fair to put him in that. No, he got played. Giovanni is saying Shaq won Defensive Player of the Year, right? No, he got screwed out of Defensive Player of the Year. He probably should have won.
They give it to Marcus. What give it to? No, Aaron Donald won it the year that Shaq went out because Donald had like 22 sacks.
Yeah, but Shaq still got played. I mean, you look at what he did as a fucking linebacker.
I feel you.
But
I feel you.
Yeah. So if he would have got that, then I'd probably have to put him over Bob. But it's just like looking back at what they did, and then obviously Bob Sanders also had the same career riddling injuries to where he couldn't put up the similar numbers as Shaq. Because if he was healthy, who knows what his numbers would look like? It'd be insane.
I think he would have been one of the I think he'd been up there with Ed Reed and Brian Dawkins, bro.
Exactly.
If he stayed healthy, he would have been a modern day safety. People have been like Brian Dawkins, Bob Sanders, Ed Reed. Those are and Troy Polamalu. Those are the 4 greatest safeties ever to walk on the face of the earth.
Exactly. And so the fact that he was injury prone, won a Defensive Player of the Year, probably could have got another and won a Super Bowl. And I think I want to say because Peyton only passed for like 180 yards in that Super Bowl, you could have gave the goddamn Super Bowl MVP to Bob Sanders. Yeah. So it's like I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little biased to that team back there.
I feel you, but we all are. I'm like
they brought us the big smiles that we carry. So it's like I totally get the argument. I think it's feasible. Me personally, I'm gonna have to put Shaq around 4, but he's in that conversation. I wouldn't dismiss it. I wouldn't dismiss the argument.
Yeah, I can't put him top 2, but just purely based on accolades, that's why I say like outside of Mathis on the defensive side of the ball, accolades wise, he's up there. I mean, he's
Absolutely.
Up there. So
yeah, you're right about that.
Based on what you do off paper, Shaq is one of the greatest Colts ever. So. But yeah, I agree. I can't say he's the greatest because that's Robert Mathis.
Yeah.
I
don't think
there's no complaint.
Robert Mathis is Dwight Freeney. I just think them two.
I don't know, man. That's one position. Like that's what's got me concerned and scared about. Honestly, about Laiatu a whole lot is the lineage of defensive linemen that have put on the horseshoe is freaking scary. Like, and he plays arguably the toughest position to play on the defensive side of the ball with your hand in the dirt, defensive end, and he's got he's got Freeney and Mathis he has to live up to because that's the standard, dog. That's the standard. And then he's got DeForest Buckner on the inside. That's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like,
Sorry, Mr. Davis, that we ain't on. We ain't got our history down there.
I'm gonna have to look up. I'm gonna have to look up Dwayne Bickett highlights now.
I'm gonna have to look that up too. But you want to know why I'm not worried about Latu and the pressure of being one of the next great defensive linemen?
Why?
So you go back, right?
Yeah.
After Freeney and Mathis, and we kind of started trying to replace them. We drafted Bajoran Warner, right? He drafted him, right? Then we had just a rotation, a plethora of guys just come in after that, and then we took Kwity Paye. And he hasn't necessarily lived up to that hype. Then this past season, we had 51 sacks. So to me, there's really no pressure for him to come in because if you ask a lot of people wouldn't even have him slated as a starter to open the season.
Oh, I'm not talking immediately. I'm talking his career.
And that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. This goes into his career as far as if he's not even going to jump to the start. And then you look at what he did in college, as long as he comes in and eventually becomes the closer within the first 3 to 4 games of the season, we can see what his potential will be. And then as long as he stays healthy, his numbers were similar to the Bosa brothers.
Yeah, they said he's literally TJ Watt. Yeah. So
as far as I can see, and the work that he puts in, this kid is just wired to ball. Like that's all he's been doing. As soon as the facilities and everything were closed, he went right back to work. So I just think that I don't really see too much pressure for him. I think it's more so it's just he wants to put on.
I hope he does. But it's like, in a way, it's a sick way. Right, yeah. Drafted Warner. Could have had Gronk. We could have had don't even get me going, dude. That draft.
I did that. Remember, I did that the other day with all those wide receivers that we could have. Like we could have had AJ Brown, we could have had Deebo Samuel, and we could have had
Justin Jefferson,
DK Metcalf.
Yeah. Could have had Justin Jefferson.
Oh man. Could you imagine Justin Jefferson with Anthony Richardson?
Be unfair. Hey, that's my Madden squad, dog. So that's my Madden squad. I don't even play Madden anymore. Waiting on that new one to come out. But first I gotta take care of business and beat up.
Matter of fact, look, I'm watching Bajoran Warner right now. 13 games played, 1 start, 2.5 sacks.
Yuck. That's his rookie year though? 2014. That's his rookie year though out of Florida State, right?
Yeah. So yeah, man. I just I think he'll have a good way to ease himself into the NFL, and then just coming across all the other monsters that are on this defensive line. I see no reason why he shouldn't succeed outside of health. I mean, for him and both A.D. Mitchell and AR, as a matter of fact, all of them. I feel like the only thing that's really holding him back is continuing to play and health.
Speaking of AR, I know I shared that sweet dunk he did. Yeah. How do y'all feel about your quarterback going out there showing his athletic abilities but dunking a ball? I don't want him on the basketball court at all, homie. Like, I know he's been putting in work because on his Twitter or on his X account, whatever it is, he was showing off, him throwing the rock. His shoulder looks good. It looks healthy. It looks clean. But, like, dude, stay off the basketball court. I don't want a rolled ankle. I don't want a blown knee. None of that.
Crazy, because that was just a straight warm up dunking.
Yeah,
straight up. Crazy. Yeah. In the group chat I'm in on Twitter, somebody said, "Who the hell is this dude's doctor? Who's his surgeon? How is he already throwing reverse windmill dunks?"
Looking like Dominique Wilkins out there. Like, get out.
absolutely insane. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm watching this game right now. We got Greg Toller on this damn team, dude.
You got Toast Toller out there, man. Don't remind me how bad that team was in 2013.
I can't believe we made a goddamn AFC Championship game with this damn team.
It tells you how
my
good.
God.
Tells you how good Andrew Luck was.
Oh my goodness.
Because Trent Richardson
yeah, man,
was that the
I
year we
think
gave
that
up everything and traded Trent Richardson.
Yeah, no, the year before, I would like to say.
That's that pick that ended up being Johnny Manziel at 22. The Colts essentially drafted Johnny Manziel. Yeah.
Yeah, so 2023 is when we made the trade.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. But yeah, I'm really not too mad about it. I was pretty happy to actually see it because he had the soreness, and then as soon as something happens with him, we got all the blog pages, all the division rivals, everybody laughing, ha ha. Your quarterback shoulders, toes, he's hurt, blah 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 blah. So I thought it was good for me to be able to see that. You could throw that out at some people because when people really see it, other division rivals and whoever, most people look at it and go like, "Damn, I want to talk some shit," but bro, that's crazy. Like to be coming off surgery, damn quarterback, like that's pretty insane.
He's the fastest healer that I've ever seen because dude's not even a year out and he's already got a full bill of health. I mean, that's wild. He's special. Looking for Deo to break out. Did you have clicked on it?
Yeah. Okay. Dave Stewart is saying here he's looking for a Dio Adangbo breakout season. And this has been a big thing amongst a lot of Colts fans. A lot of Colts fans got a lot of faith in him. I want to see how we'll look. Obviously, we got the new D-line coach, Charlie Partridge. Going to see what he works in and see what he brings to the mix. Got a lot of dogs up there, a lot of guys that can get after the quarterback.
Well, he's starting on the outside, right?
He is not.
Because
I would say our projected starters, if I were to say right now, would be Kwity Paye, Forrest Buckner, Grover Stewart, and Samson Ebukam.
So I think Kwity might actually break out this year because no offense, but I don't think Nate Oates was a very good defensive line coach.
Nate Ollie.
Was that Nate Ollie? I don't think Nate Oates is the Alabama basketball coach. Sorry, guys. I don't think Nate Ollie was a very good defensive line coach from a development perspective. So I really think Deo's been an elite run defender his entire career. Same thing with Kwity. Kwitty's been an elite run defender his entire career. So I really think Kwity and Deo are due. By breakout, do you mean like double-digit sacks? Well, what do we consider breakout? Because I don't think he'll ever have double-digit sacks just because the Colts rotate way too much. So, because he had like 4 last year or 5 last year.
8.
He had 8 last year. I guess the only way to go is up. So
I mean, if he was to break, god damn, that's double-digit sacks right there.
I guess double-digit sacks because I thought he only had 5.
I posted the other day, man. Like looking at the rushers that we got on this roster, if Laiatu Latu comes in and really provides what he should as far as sack numbers and pressure, I'm looking for this Colts team to be close to 70 sacks. That's what I'm looking for.
It will be Sam Jones Expressway, Indianapolis, man. Like it will. It will be. It'll be Indianapolis 500.
Saxonapolis.
Saxonapolis. It'll be Indianapolis. It'll be the 500 in September. Like, the zoom sound you hear here in May, you'll hear in Indianapolis in September and October. 70 sacks would be wild. Be absolutely wild.
Yeah, bro. So
everyone had
that's what I'd be hoping for. Because if you think about it, like almost everybody on this D line has something motivational and to play for. If you look at some of the guys, right? You look at Kwity Paye. He's on a contract year. You gotta turn up. Deo, contract year. You gotta turn up. Ebukam, obviously, you just still playing to prove to show that you're one of these guys. Laiatu Latu, proving the Colts right for picking him. Then you go to DeForest Buckner, one of the highest double team rate guys in the league. You can't
Yeah.
double team.
No.
You double team, you might have a problem with this team right now.
Raekwon Davis at nose tackle, who has the highest pressure rate for a defensive tackle.
Second
one of the highest. Yeah, one of the highest on passing downs.
He was behind Leonard Williams, who his numbers off the charts, bro.
How many sacks did he have? No, from Seattle.
I want to say he had like 16 sacks, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But his pressure rate was like 60% higher than the next closest D tackle.
What?
Which was Raekwon Davis. Yeah, his pressure rate is insane, bro. Insane.
He don't get no shine.
Yeah. Then you got Grover Stewart, who also he had a 50% double team rate. So you look at everybody around this defensive line, you try and double team somebody, you're going to have a problem. Then you look at everybody having something to motivate them to push them further. I see no reason why we shouldn't have a ton of sacks, a ton of pressures, or a ton of turnovers. Either all of them or one of the three.
I think we'll have two of the three, bro. I think we'll get a ton of sacks and a ton of turnovers because you start sacking the quarterback and getting pressure on them, they get paranoid. And it's either they fumble the ball or it turns into picking. It turns into pick city.
No reason outside of just AR having a massive collapse. No reason that we shouldn't be a playoff team.
I almost feel like we're
win a playoff.
Okay. I'm going to say this hot take, not the first one of the year, but first one of the offseason. I almost feel that this offense and this team is AR proof. Here's what I mean by that. If AR gets hurt, I don't think it matters because I really believe you could put Joe Flacco in there and be just as successful because we're going to be built on the run game. We're going to be RPO heavy. And then on top of that, we're not going to ask AR to do anything more than what he would. So why the hell would we ask, Joe Flacco to do anything different? Now, the extra dimension that AR gives you with his legs, sure, you don't have that with Joe, but I really think that this offense and this team is built for AR to like you said, be a rookie, make mistakes, be a dummy at times, and we'll still be successful.
Yep. As long as he protects himself, learn that check downs and short throws, getting out of the way are good to make. Just like Dave Stewart said here, we will bank on a lot of sacks if the offense performed well. Back to the mentality of get a lead and rush the passer. They need to throw to catch up. The Manning, Mathis, and Freeney style of play. Blueprint, my bad, not style of play, blueprint. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that goes back to if you look back at our week 2 game versus Houston, that's exactly what we did to them. We ended up with 6 sacks. And as much as people want to sit there, and even CJ Stroud had said in some podcast this summer that he cooked the Colts that week 2 game or whatever, when it was really you threw for 170 something yards when you were down by 21 with the game pretty much all in hand, and the Colts just went to a prevent defense to stop the big play. So it's just stuff like that where it's like we can go right back to that style of play.
If you look at CJ last year, every pass he pretty much threw, he was on the edge of the defense, and all the passes were coming to him. So while he's rolling out, they're coming to him so he can see. CJ did not sit in the pocket a whole lot last year. So I truly believe that if the Colts are going to have success, if they force CJ to beat him from the pocket, I think he can. While he's very good, I don't believe he's necessarily a finished product. On top of that, bro went to Ohio State, and you still can't trust Ohio State QBs. I know you don't like that. You don't believe in that, DeMarco. Yeah. But time is undefeated, dog. So I still hold out hope that Ohio State QBs, some way, somewhere, they'll let you down.
Yeah, you know where I'm at with that. I don't really believe in that. I do want to say that I do hope that part of that I hope that's a part of our new scheme this upcoming season. I need Gus to be a bit more QB specific because if you look at some of the struggles of some of these quarterbacks like a CJ Stroud, he is so much better versus the zone than he is versus man-to-man. And I need us to start being more game specific, kind of like when we spoke about the Lamar Jackson game plan, and then when we went that next week in the versus Matthew Stafford, when I was telling you guys about some of the game plans, and it was like I want us to be able to plan more just like that. Because if that's something that I can point out, and I'm not the guy who's watching the exact film that they have to break down teams and quarterbacks, I feel like that's something that Gus should be able to figure out on his own to be able to make these matchups easier. Like, I just, uh, I just, I just don't see any reason why we should be forcing cover two or cover three all the time with so many
I
different
mean,
quarterbacks, and you can find the statistics and the pressures and how they read versus different things to find ways to game plan against them. I just don't see. Now,
I
obviously,
agree.
you're gonna have some days because the NFL is so pass heavy that a guy is just gonna be on that day. But it
Right.
should be a good split between we're gonna play what this guy is weak against.
Oh, I agree. But I also feel like you're not going to do that with Gus Bradley because Gus Bradley calls like a cover three or his own defense 33 something percent more than any other defensive coordinator in the league. Like the cover three defense is now everyone's favorite defense. And then you look at what Gus Bradley's been doing with it, and the Colts were his own defense like 67, 68% of the time. I don't even know.
86%.
Yeah, I don't even know if our corners can play man. And I don't mean
No,
that as
Juju
in like
can.
sarcastic. I mean like outside of the 3 yards they let them play press and then they back them off.
Juju can.
I
Juju
have
was rated
no
as one of the top man-to-man rated corners per NFL.
Pro Football Focus.
No, not Pro Football Focus. I'm blanking on the next gen stats.
There it is.
Per next gen stats, he was rated as one of the top man-to-man corners going down the stretch of the season. So we can definitely play it and totally agree to your point, man. But I'm just like, at least if you're gonna run zone 86% of the time,
Be
at
different.
least show different.
Yes.
Don't like we show what coverage we're in like
Yeah.
93% of the time. So
Yeah.
I mean come on, Gus.
You know
Like,
you're
I
getting
mean,
2 high and 7 underneath. Like that
I
is
mean
that is
that's
literally
that's pretty ridiculous. We gotta put something different out there, man. So and that one, that percentage came from Mina Kimes' podcast.
yeah.
I forgot
Yeah.
who was the other guy on there, but yeah,
Grant Coolman.
we show exactly what we're in, like 93% of the time, running zone like 86% of the time.
We don't disguise anything. Like that's something that
Nothing.
they literally stand at their landmarks and stay there and then just expect either the receiver not to get there fast enough or the Colts to be able to make the tackle on contact.
Man.
I'm old enough to remember Art Schleister. Hate Ohio State QBs. Bro, I remember Craig Krenzel and Troy Smith, and that's as far back as I go. And that Jermaine kid, that JT Jermaine for Ohio State, like that's about it.
Chad is saying here the RPO offense heavy
heavy.
is a perfect scene for AR to open up and make those huge Sports Center highlights. As much as I love the RPO offense, I do really love it, but I do want to see a bit more of things getting opened up, kind of like not when we were down versus the Rams, and we did that one series when we were 4 verticals. I want to say about like 4 plays in a row. But kind of opening up things as far as like the way we ran with Minshew a bit. But we got to start trusting AR's arm and have him develop more of the passing side of it. So I do love the RPO offense as well, but I want us to mix that up too a little bit on offense. But I mean, I'm not really too concerned about what we do on offense. I completely trust Steichen. I could care less. Just like
Facts.
on the fourth down play to Goodson, I was pissed off about it at first, and then when you think about the situation, who's in the game, who would you expect the ball go to? It was wide open. We were one play away from keeping the season open and potentially going to the playoffs. So I mean, I completely trust Steichen on offense. It's the least of my worries. But yeah, that's just one of my preferences. I would like to see what they are.
Yeah, I just want to see more West Coast because I truly believe like you put him in. What's up, Damon? Nice to see you. You put AR in a West Coast system and you get his footwork discipline. because they talk about, I heard Kirk Cousins talk about it, or that no, not Kirk Cousins, that Kirk Benderek dude who's huge now on YouTube and plays Madden and everything, who played at the University of Virginia there for a while. He talks about how he really learned football when he was in a West Coast offense, from footwork to reads to scheme and everything, and how he truly got to really grow from a football player perspective from just a West Coast scheme.
Hey,
So
that guy, Art Slithler,
Art
Slithler,
Schlichter?
he just got arrested
Yeah.
February 6th of 2024. and handed
Probably
the,
for gambling.
Cop,
Yeah,
handed
he's been
the-
arrested
handed the
multiple
cop, Handed the
times.
cop a crack pipe.
Nice.
Yeah, he's been arrested multiple times for gambling. He's like ran people completely dry, lying and stuff like that.
Jeez, man.
Jim Sorgi went to Wisconsin, Pops. Wisconsin. Ohio State? No, Wisconsin. I just want to see AR grow as a passer. I do believe his legs will allow him to do that. It's where his arm won't. Because, young guys, you can probably allow them, hey, if your first or second read's not there, tuck it and chuck it. But by year 4, hey, we're not going to tuck and chuck anymore, my guy. Go through your progressions. Go through either your full field read, your half field read, your what you see pre-snap, trust your eyes, and roll with it. And as long as he does that, I feel like his development will be fine.
See, Zach, this is part of the history that I can't wait to see on the next episode because I didn't know this.
Oh, dog.
This is hilarious, bro. He got drafted in 82.
Gambling, my guy.
Missed the 83 season because of gambling.
Gambling.
84, I didn't realize Elway didn't want to come to the Colts because
No, he
their situation
refused.
was so bad because
Yeah.
of the moving situation, the history
He
of the stadium and
refused.
everything.
He refused,
It was,
and the
because,
Colts.
it was because of how it looked. I always thought it was because Elway thought we just sucked for so long.
No,
But that
Fuck
was
no.
not the reason.
no.
He hated
And then-
ownership and
It was
didn't
the
like the city.
organization.
Yeah, he didn't like the organization of the Colts.
And then,
Irsay's dad had like the worst reputation of any NFL owner in like the league. And like
He
if
got
you watch,
voted worst owner of the 80s, dog.
if you watch videos, if you watch videos, whenever Irsay was still pretty coherent, he talks about how he got on the bus one day after a game because he would come and talk to the players after the game and chew them out solo,
Yeah.
one by one. So he would hold contracts over your head, everything. And he came and chewed the bus out, and he started crying. Jim Irsay did, and all the players came up and started saying, "We understand it's not you, it's your dad." And
Yeah.
his dad shortly left the team over to him.
Like,
the funny thing is though is that they what was it? Just like who did it? There was a player for the Cavs that recently he told the Cavs not to draft him. I want to say it was like 2018 or something like that. One of their big centers. He told the Cavs not to draft him. They still drafted him anyway. We should have called Elway's bluff because he said he was going to go play baseball. Should have just called his
play for
bluff
the
and
Yankees.
drafted him.
Yeah.
But this dude Slippery came back in 84, went 0-5, and then in 85 went 0-1.
gambling. Yeah.
It
Gambling,
just-
alcoholism, and crack ruined his career, bro.
I mean,
Him.
that's
The Colts have not had good luck with drafting quarterbacks outside of Manning. I mean, Jeff George, Andrew
Harbaugh.
Luck, shoulder. Harbaugh wasn't even drafted by the Colts. He's a Bear.
Oh, that's
And
right.
then he became a Colt quarterback. And then he left us and went to Baltimore and then San Diego.
so yeah, man. I mean, I just think that after a while, I just feel like the whole college thing, it just kind of wears thin once a quarterback comes from somewhere, because it's not really the system. Maybe some systems are different actually, because a lot of those athletic quarterbacks that will come out just because they ran around in college, you think they might do good in the NFL and it doesn't work.
Right.
But
Johnny
if a guy
Manziel.
can pass and stuff like that, it's kind of just until a guy does. So maybe you don't believe in that system until somebody breaks it. But yeah, I just thought that was crazy because I didn't really remember Slifter at all. But I guess it makes sense because he only
He was
played
in the 80s, dog. Yeah, he was
six-
trash.
played 7 games, and the first picture you look up, the dude is getting arrested.
Yeah, man.
fucking crack.
Crap.
But he had a whole bunch of talent, if I remember right. The things that
Yeah.
I read, he was an
Oh yeah,
unbelievable athlete.
He was a great quarterback.
Bro, he went to
at,
Ohio State,
State
and never
Yeah.
lost a game. They lost 2
Yeah.
games.
He was a great at Ohio State, and then just
When you can hand the ball off to, like arguably some of the best running backs in college football history that go through Ohio State, so be it. Like Art Schlichter
Yeah.
he's that dog. I mean, then the Colts outside of Manning really haven't had a whole lot of good luck because, Andrew Luck quit on us. Say what you want. Manning has pretty much been the golden child. Unitas forsaken us after. That's something I'm amazed they haven't talked about yet.
They've talked about that too.
How Unitas felt after the Colts left the city of Baltimore. How he denounced the Colts completely and said he's a Baltimore Colt and he loves the city of Baltimore.
Yep,
and he embraced the Ravens completely. And that's why they have a statue of him out in Baltimore in his Colt gear. He goes, yes, I played for the Colts, but I love Charm City. I love Baltimore. So
What about a Burt Jones?
Burt Jones? He was never an Indianapolis Colt. He was always a Baltimore Colt.
Yeah, so we're not counting that.
Not since move. I really think it's shady.
Burt Jones was an NFL MVP.
Yeah, I think it's really shady that the Colts get Baltimore's history. I've never shared this just as a fan. I've always said once a team like relocates, so you take a team like the LA Rams, like they started out in LA and then they relocated and moved around and then they come back to St. Louis. I kind of feel like that history should be left in that city. And if
don't tell that to
Burt
Titans
Jones'
fans.
shoulder, Dave Stewart, yeah,
right. And if
don't tell that to Titans fans, they've been fighting with Houston every day.
I truly feel like the Titans deserve the Oilers uniforms.
So when the Cleveland Browns
Wait, you said the Titans? You mean Houston? You mean the Titans?
I mean, yeah, Houston's deserve those Oiler uniforms. I've always felt that. Just like the Ravens should have the Colts history to a certain extent.
I don't feel like you should. I feel like whatever the team name sticks with it. The team name is the one that sticks the same. The city, they can move different city to city to city to city to city as long as the team name stays. Just like the Oakland Raiders, they've been the Vegas Raiders, they've been the Oakland Raiders, they've been the Los Angeles Raiders, they've been all of those. So to me, I just think that anytime that the team is the logo, just like what was it on First Take, Mad Dog Russo tried to say that the Los Angeles Lakers weren't the same as the Minneapolis Lakers, and it's just because they were in Minneapolis. Like, no, that's whatever the team name. It's the team name. Just to me, in my opinion, it's the team name that should follow the team, not the city. They could be in the city all they want, but teams move cities all the time. Just like in the Colts situation, the only reason they left was because the fact that the city wouldn't fix the stadium.
Yeah.
So, like, they would still been the Baltimore Colts all this time if they would have fixed it then. So,
they were going to be the Arizona Colts.
Yep. Almost went there.
The Mayflower was driving to Phoenix, and they got caught in the snow. And supposedly that's the story that they say.
No. They actually came up with the real story. I guess the final offer from Indianapolis was way better than Phoenix's.
Yeah.
To move the team.
I'm not crazy. That was a story that was told for a long time, though, right? The snowstorm kept the Mayflower in Indy.
No.
I'm not sure about that.
What Irsay came to Indianapolis and saw that the Colts had that Indianapolis, the city itself, built a stadium, and it was a beautiful stadium. Like Irsay saw it and cried immediately, and he went back and immediately he said. That's when he got the buses up. That's when he literally got the Mayflower up and said, hey, we're leaving to Indianapolis. And they did it in the dead of the night. So you hear literally in the dead of the night. It's the dead of the night. Like overnight, in and out, bada bing, bada boom, get it done. That's how it went down.
What it was is the city of Baltimore was about to put a hold on the trade of the Colts. If they would have pushed it to the city, so the Colts left in the middle of the night to stop the hold. Because if they just left, then there was nothing that could stop them from leaving at that point before they got it to the city. But yeah, Dave, not trying to piss you off, man. I think it's everybody just putting their opinion out there on it. I think it's great learning the history, man. Because again, like I said, like I started in '98 with Peyton, and then obviously the history that I learned came through overtime, looking at it, hearing about it, and stuff like that. Like I'm even looking at Burt Jones's right now. His MVP season was 3,100 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions.
You
Yeah.
need to go
Today-
watch. You need to go watch his highlights. Though he was
these days today though, you put up those kind of stats and people were saying, "Nah, you all right."
They say he was the most underrated quarterback of his time. He was an unbelievable. He's an unbelievable player. But I mean, dude, that's so subjective. That's back whenever they were running the ball 400 times. You know what I mean? A year. You know, running backs were
Yeah.
getting 15, 20 carries.
That's
You had
some
two
good
different.
shit right there.
You know,
Yeah.
so I'm
Yeah,
taking.
man.
To go back on our old conversation. All Colts history is Colts history. I'm not leaving it in Baltimore. That's just my opinion.
I've always felt like they should in a way. Like just let the rate from the previously. So before you move, all right. So let's say the Colts move here in '86. Colts move here in '86. From '86 to now, that's Indianapolis Colts history. That's what matters. In Baltimore, you know, they can have all that stuff from their AFL championships to when they didn't have a team to when the Ravens happened. So now they get, you know, the Ravens still have. They don't keep the colors, they don't keep the helmet, they don't keep the name. That comes to Indy, but they get everything else. I kind of feel like what Cleveland got when they got the rebranded Browns. That's trash. The Browns
so how's that work for them and the Ravens?
They got to keep the Browns themselves got to keep their colors, their history. That didn't go with Baltimore, even though Baltimore took the Browns. That stayed. That's what I'm saying. The Colts history should stay in Baltimore, like the Cleveland's history, like the Browns OG history stayed in Cleveland. Just like Houston's history with Tennessee should stay in Houston, thus allowing the Texans to wear the Houston
However, that has not happened for them.
No,
that has not happened for them at all.
My boy
Right.
Lindell Mitchell ran the ball for 289 yards, 5 touchdowns, man. Hey, that's just crazy, man. But I don't know, man. I just think that like whatever your team name is, that's where the history should stick to. If the team name has not changed, you basically haven't rebranded. Obviously, like the Washington Redskins that went to the Washington Commanders, they're still technically the same team that has stayed the same. So unless they move to a completely different place and change to like the Arizona Wildcats or something like that, then I just think that history should stay with that team. That's just my personal opinion on it. And the crazy thing is Burt Jones's last year with us was 82, and then all of our shit started getting crazy, and it was like we had to decide to move on from 3 different quarterbacks in that, or 2 different quarterbacks, and then not draft one in that era from the 50s to the 80s when we got bad, because we were pretty much we have 2 decades or 3 different decades where we were one of the winningest teams in history. The owner before Irsay was the winningest owner in history back in the 50s
Rosenblum
with Unitas and everything. And then we had the 2000s with Manning and Irsay, where we also had one of the winningest decades. So it's just crazy, man, to see some of those times. That's why, like, when people sit there and talk about quarterbacks and history and blah, 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 it's like, yeah, you like to erase that history, but sometimes you don't realize, like, there's been so much winning that you just haven't seen it, or you don't want to call it because maybe your team wasn't there or whatnot. Gotten to that point.
Right.
But yeah, man, that's why I like to know, man. I think that deep dive in history, it gets pretty crazy. Davis saying here, Burt Jones was Elway before Elway. Bill Belichick called Bart the most talented quarterback he's ever seen.
Told y'all, dude was a dog.
Stacy says hi.
Rocket
Hi,
arm.
Stacy. Appreciate you.
How
Yeah,
about
man.
the Roman Harper? How about the Roman Harper? Is that Roman Harper or Nick Harper? Who was the safety that got the
Roman
pick
Harper.
in the Steelers game?
Fuck Nick Harper.
That was Nick Harper.
Did y'all know the real story of why he couldn't take that back? Y'all remember that?
He got stabbed.
Fuck both them Harpers.
How about
The
that?
Pittsburgh, fuck the Pittsburgh one and the New Orleans Saints one. Fuck them both.
How about that? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy that didn't happen? He probably
knowing that, it only makes me more mad because
that was a well-kept secret.
Greg Jennings broke his leg and still took a touchdown. You know.
Oh my god!
No, how about Ben Roethlisberger tackling Gary Brackett on that interception? That should have been a pick 6, and we would have won another Super Bowl.
That would have been a walk-off.
How about that one, man? How about
and the missed field goal?
A stupid kicker.
Drunk kicker.
Stupid
All right,
kid.
y'all. I gotta get off here and go to bed. I gotta work tomorrow. So peace, love, hot sauce.
Yeah, man. Appreciate everybody for coming on. All the history lessons that we got in here tonight, man. Appreciate everybody. It's great to be back. We'll catch you guys next weekend. We'll make sure we get it back being consistent. Appreciate everybody. And as always, go Colts.
Second down, he fakes the Taylor, fires over the middle, completes. Pittman